Tortured. It's From the Front Row with Johnathan T. Rokford.
Flip, what the fuck? Flip. That shit wasn't funny, Flip. The fuck, asshole. What's up, WPA? It's me, Johnathan T. Rokford here, with another edition of From the Front Row. Our little jokester here thinks that's funny. Good thing we wasn't at the place where he was. God dang. Flip, don't do that no more. God, I almost thought he was here. We had a busy night in WPA, folks. A lot of close matches. Who poured this? Oh, yeah, I did. We're going to start with the game changer event that happened down in Alabama, in Birmingham, Alabama, Fairfield to be exact. As Sean Puff and Crazy Canuck went at it in a cell block 4 match. Now, Crazy Canuck got the title from Delirious after attacking him from behind after his own match. Was able to wrestle it away from him. Now, you guys all saw my report. What happened at the prison? Yeah, it was not pretty, folks. I still got a little bit of scars inside and out. But the Master Sean Puff was able to defeat Crazy Canuck after they came out of solitary confinement. I think he prayed out some prison guards or something. And he now is our new game changer champion. Now, luckily that match was ended with enough time for them to fly back to the WPA arena and participate in the matches that they were scheduled for. Now, we started off the scheduled matches with Quanty Fist taking on the Emperor 2K Anomalium, and something that rarely happens when the 2K Anomalium is involved in a match. We had a time limit draw, folks. Yes, I know, it's crazy, but it happens. They fought to a time limit draw. No winner declared. These things happen. As a matter of fact, we had a couple of those last night, but our next match was Shepherd Bane versus Lady Assassin. Now, after losing her TV title in controversial fashion, I'm still trying to figure out how she disappeared. But they fought, and she must have been really pissed because they wound up fighting outside the ring, and both individuals got counted out. Told you, folks, it was a fight here in WPA. Our next match was Bobby Blaze versus Needles Kane. And Bobby Blaze was able to take out Needles Kane when some more Bobbies appeared ringside in hoods. Thank God they were dressed this time, because God forbid we have that happen again. We almost got fined a lot of money last time. Now, in our next match, our WPA champion, the Darkstalker, was taking on Texas Hate You in a non-title match. And he was able to hit the Black Void out of nowhere, folks, and pick up the win over Texas Hate You. Now I'm still having flashbacks of that prison. I can't believe you left me hanging, Flip. You didn't have any popcorn in your hand. Yeah. We'll talk about that later, though. Now, our next match saw the Super Champion King of Tyville taking on Red Death. And living up to his name, the Champion King was able to come out with the victory, hitting an old school power driver on Red Death, and was able to pin him. Now, in our next match that was scheduled, we had Nergahante scheduled to take on South Bronx Savage. Only South Bronx Savage couldn't make it. Probably took the wrong train to get to the arena. Nergahante was awarded the win in the absence of South Bronx. Some of these people, man. Now in our next match, we had Switchblade taking on the Horror Show Homevik. And the Horror Show put on quite a scary match with Switchblade and was able to pin him with a move. I don't even know what he called that move, bro. It was kind of scary, though. We thought Switchblade died at that point. But the Horror Show was able to pick up the win. And that was all she wrote. Now in our next match, we had the Wraith versus the Messiah. And after getting pinned last time, Messiah was destined. He was not going to take a loss tonight. And he was able to pick up the pin versus the Wraith. Nailed him with a punch that knocked him back and made him hit his head on the turnbuckle. And then rolled him up. He rolled him up tighter than a blunt. Yeah, one would be kind of good right now. Now, in our next match, we had Robert Isaiah Salea, who looks like he might have hit a turn and is on an upward swing. But he was going against Luscious Lucius, and he was able to squeak out a win versus Luscious Lucius, which isn't saying a lot. But, nevertheless, it's a win on his part. Hey, maybe how a little pep talk work, you know? Now we had the First Lady, Alexa Leslie, in action versus Martel the Carpenter. We know he lost. Come on. I'm sorry. I don't know who wants to lose to Martel. Even people who don't know his history do not want to lose to Martel. It's like two people in WPA nobody wants to lose to. Martel and Quanny Fist. Nobody wants to lose to those two. Especially Quanny Fist. Now, Supreme Knight was taking on a crazy Canuck. Canuck must have had a little jet lag or whatever. But he was able to put up a good fight, so good enough that the time expired on him. So that was like our second time limit draw match of the night. No winner declared. You mean where did I get my nails done? You mean get my nails done? I went to Phillip's manicurist. They do a good job. Now in our next match, we had Money, MF, and Mike taking on Chrysalis. And Money has been having a strange run up and down wins and losses. But he was able to pull out the win versus Chrysalis. 1/3 of the Trios champions. Now, in a match that had all kinds of implications involved, it was Big Mel taking on the Beast. And, folks, we've said it. The Beast has been bragging about how Big Mel has never beat him and all this other stuff. And then Jermaine Walker went with a tear and beat all the goons at the end of the year. And finally, Big Mel got the monkey off his back and defeated the Beast in a close match. Hit that punch he does and was able to knock him out. I think he also spilled his Beastweiser too. That kind of was a distraction. Now, in our last singles match, well, not last singles match, but in this match, we had Shona, who's not having a good time right now, taking on Mark 69, where she has to win 3 matches out of 5, or she becomes the property of her former faction. And folks, sad to say, she suffered a loss at the hands of Mark 69. So, let's see. She has a loss, a draw. Well, let's see what happened last time. Yep. And a draw. She still has 2 matches to go. It's not looking good for her. Like I said, I don't know what's going to happen with the draw. she needs to win these last couple matches to even be considered, I guess. Man, that's gonna be heartbreaking. You know, becoming the property of somebody. Wow.
Oh Lord.
You know,
Johnathan really thinks we are fooled. We know he doesn't care what happens to Shauna.
Somebody's property.
It just makes a good story for him.
Well,
now he's trying to tell a story like he's empathetic when he's just pathetic.
It's gonna be tragic, something like that. But it's not my problem. Now, our last singles match saw Jermaine Walker taking on Lycan Hombros. With a stipulation, folks. If Jermaine Walker won, Lycan had to give up his triple threat title.
Say what?
Folks, I don't know how you could be so dumb to take that stipulation, but they were fighting. It was a nice match, folks. It was almost the night match of the night. And then out of nowhere, Johnny Rocco started calling Lycan's name for some reason, distracting him, and Jermaine Walker was able to hit the sexy driver and pin him. So now, the triple threat title is vacated.
Say what?
We're going to have to find a new champion. Wow. Talk about emotional damage. Well, that's what happens when you take on weird stipulations. It's like a coin toss. Moving on. We had some qualifier matches for the IC title that came up next. And we had Johnny Rocco taking on the Master Sean Puff. And another nail-biter of a match that saw the Master roll up Johnny Rocco when he attempted to hit the Annihilator and was able to escape it and roll Johnny up. Part of me, the ref didn't see it, but Puff slick. He actually had a little bit of Johnny's tights in his hand. But a win's a win, folks. So the Master moves on. Now in our second match, we actually had a double count out between Lucha Libre and the Brasso. So you can kind of figure what's going to probably come up, folks. I see a fatal four-way coming up for the Queen. Not going to be pretty. I feel sorry for her. I'm pretty sure Phillip's not going to be too happy about that either. Putting the Queen through all that. Although she has been through it before and she has survived. So we'll see what happens. Now, we had a number one contender match for the TV title between the Prince of Crime, Delirious, and the Essential J. LaMasters. And Delirious is probably glad he wasn't the one involved in the Cell Block 4 match. Because that shit, whew, I've never seen a fight break out so bad over some cornbread. But he was up against the Essential J. LaMasters, which is almost like being in a prison. You know, he's a tough SOB to beat. And Delirious was able to defeat him. So he is now the number one contender for the TV title. And we'll see if he can gain that from the current champ. Our last number one contender match was for the world title, and it was the Queen Starling J taking on the big Jay Boski. And folks, like I said, the Queen had a disappointment as she fell to the big Jay Boski. Man, he really stuck it to her too. So, number one contender for the TV titles, the Prince of Crime, Delirious. Number one contender for the world title, the big Jay Boski. And in qualifying matches for the IC title, we have the Master Sean Puff, Lucha Libre, and the Brass Hole, who had a double count out. I'm pretty sure they're going to be put into a fatal four. I see it coming. Speaking of TV champs, Captain Chaos was in action facing Casper 2779 of the Killer Goons. And unlike the Cleveland Browns and other Cowboys and other teams that can't seem to hold on to championships, this time Captain Chaos defended that title and he retained it. Although there was a time limit draw that helped him retain it, as Casper gave him everything he had. Man, that's like what? 1, 2, 3 time limit draws and a couple countouts. I told you, folks, matches were tight. But that's all I have for you tonight, folks. Stay tuned for Phillip to give you his pick for the week. Don't forget, drive safe, don't drink and drive. Hug your loved ones, and make sure pick up the phone and call that friend that might need to hear your voice. I'm out, folks. Talk to you later. Now, how you gonna say you was gonna go get popcorn and you was on the phone? Who was you on the phone with anyway, man? With who? Good evening, WPA. Once again, it is I, Philip Alexander Carrington IV, gracing your screens and allowing you the honor to hear my voice as I select my pick for this week. Now, it won't take me much time, as although all the matches were stellar, very stellar indeed, I must applaud every performer in WPA this week for putting on top-notch matches. But one individual is only my pick. And that would be Robert Isaiah Salea. Mr. Salea, after suffering a loss at your title match a couple weeks ago, I've watched you 2 weeks now pull out victories. Your ring awareness and technical skills have seemed to risen to the occasion as you dispatched your opponents. And they know who beat them. No pretend name. They know it was none other than Robert Isaiah Salea. And I know, you being a former champion and suffering defeats and disappointments, you could have easily just given up and became a low-tier individual. But no, sir. You have committed yourself to rising up the ranks, to earning yourself title shots. And I applaud you, sir. Because there's nothing greater than a man who rises from the ashes and gains success. So I wish you luck in your rise and climb up the mountain. But that is all I have, folks. As time draws near to the end of the month, there's only a few weeks left before I make my end of the month pick. And let this serve as a warning to you. If you fail to impress me, it doesn't matter if you were a pick of the week. You will not make my list. Step it up, people. My time is valuable. Now I wish you a good day and safe journeys. I said good day.